Alright, one last video to wrap up here, and we're good. No more series, no more videos, I am free.
Wait, you're not going to do any more videos with me?
That depends how much money you're gonna fork out to me.
I never gave you money in the first place!
And that's the problem! We got all this money from advertising and selling out in a couple of our videos, right? I want some of that dough.
Look, we discuss future video plans later, okay? Can we just move on with this last video in our journeying through our novel series?
Whatever. So what do you want to talk about?
The resolution, of course.
And that's different from the climax because...
Well, yes, it's different from the climax, okay? Here's the thing. You see, the climax is definitely the biggest part of the story, okay? Because it's the part where the hero has to accomplish his goal and win. One of the crucial mistakes an author can make is to cut the story too short and to end it just short of a resolution.
Alright, so how about you explain to me what the resolution is?
Well, the simple way of describing it is to say that a resolution is everything that comes after the story's climax. But really, what the resolution does is it addresses a couple of things. First, it wraps up any loose ends that need to be wrapped up after the climax. And second, it shows us what the protagonist's life is going to be like after the events of the book.
Okay, well, how about you explain each of them in order?
Okay.
You say that the resolution needs to wrap up loose ends, but what exactly is a loose end?
Well, a loose end is something that has been brought up in the book as a potential problem that hasn't yet been answered or resolved. To think back at our last video, it's an expectation that still needs to be met. A lot of these problems and expectations should be answered by the climax, but sometimes you need a bit of a recap after a climax to explain or show how all these problems or expectations are being answered.
So every loose end needs to be answered after the climax and the resolution?
Well, not every loose end needs to be answered, because you don't want to close off the book too soundly either. You want to leave some questions in the reader's mind so that there's a sense of mystery about what the hero is going to do next. But you don't want to leave any important questions open-ended. And you don't want to leave too many of them out there for the reader to puzzle over.
Okay, well that makes sense. But what about the other part of the resolution? The part about what you show what the protagonist's life will be like after the resolution?
Well, think about it this way. As a reader, you've just spent several hundreds of pages and several hours of your time reading through a book as a protagonist tries to win his objective and solve his dilemma. And so, because your reader has put such a large time investment into your book, if you just end the book without showing what the protagonist's life is going to be like, then your reader may rightly feel cheated out of a good ending. Your readers deserve to see how the protagonist's life is going to be different after the end of the book.
And what if it isn't?
Well, it should be. Even if the whole book is just about returning everything to status quo, a good book will include a character arc and character change. And so your protagonist should be a different person by the book's end, and thus the reader should see how the protagonist is going to live his life differently after this. It's important to show not only how the situation might be different, but also how he is different, in order to cement the changes that he's been making throughout the book.
I see. So it's a chance to see that the protagonist has become a new sort of person.
Exactly.
You know what? That actually makes a lot of sense.
Wow.
You know, I just think it back to the beginning of this YouTube series when you couldn't do anything without your scripts. I mean, you couldn't do literally anything. You were glued to your scripts. You were speaking like you thought you were some kind of rhetorical genius. You weren't. And you're always flustered and...
Look, is this getting anywhere, or are you just trying to insult me?
Oh yeah, you started this YouTube series not knowing what you were doing. But you know what? You don't have scripts, and you don't need them. I'm proud of you.
Well, I suppose you're right.
Of course I'm right. That's the first lesson you should have learned.
Yeah, right.
So are we finally here at the end of this YouTube series?
Look, Daniel, I know what you're going to try to do. But you know, it would be really nice to be able to have one good ending for this video series.
Of course it would be. So I'm going to let you give the greatest ending you could possibly give right now.
Really?
Yes, really. So go on. Give your little speech.
Well, here we are. We've gone through a novel's characteristic moment, its inciting event, its push point, its tests and trials, its midpoint, its low point, its climax, and its resolution. Good stories have good structure. And so while you don't want to be rigorously bound to novel structure, you do want to keep these critical scenes in mind when you're writing your book. And if you do that, you will be well on your way to writing a well-plotted novel.
How touching.
That was supposed to be my good ending.
Well, I guess you missed your chance then. Let's just drop it out and move on to the credits.
So Daniel, tell me what you've learned in this video series with Josiah.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I don't listen to him.
No?
No, I don't. I just like stare at him, then stare at the camera, then stare at him, and then stare at the lines to make sure I'm reading them, and then stare at you, and then not.
Alright, thank you. That's great to know. So, tell me something else about yourself. Who is your favorite sister?
The other one.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Alright, well, who do you think is the nicest, kindest person to you in this house?
Me.
Who makes you food all the time?
Me.
Other than yourself, anyone else?
The microwave.
Good to know.